Hi, my name is Charles Porter. I'm the pastor of Kingwood Baptist Church in Kingwood, West Virginia. In this video, I would like to discuss aspects of Luke chapter 1, verses 5 to 7. Luke writes in Luke chapter 1, verse 5, in the time of King Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. His wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Now Herod ruled, for historical context, King Herod ruled Judea from 37 to 4 BC. So that makes what is about to happen in this passage of Scripture, it probably dates to about 5 to 4 BC. The Bible informs us that Zechariah was a priest. Now he was one of 8,000 priests in Judea at that time. As priest, Zechariah served the temple for 2 one-week periods. We also find that Zechariah was married to Elizabeth. Elizabeth was a descendant of Aaron. Now, if we remember, Aaron was Moses' birth brother. He was his brother. Since Moses and Aaron were siblings, we know that if Elizabeth had traces of Aaron's blood in her, she also had traces of Moses' blood, Moses' parents. How awesome is that the same blood that ran through Moses also ran through Elizabeth? That's pretty cool, I think. Luke chapter 1, verse 6 states, and this is a key verse, both were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. Now there are people that get to high positions, but then we learn that they had very shady personal lives. Sometimes people get to high positions, even high religious positions, because of politics, not because of piety, not because they live lives of devotion to God. Luke makes it clear that this was not the case with Zechariah or Elizabeth. Yes, Zechariah had a high position. He was a priest. And Elizabeth had a very respectable bloodlines. But they were also very faithful people personally. They were both upright in the sight of God. Luke 1:7 states, but they had no children because Elizabeth was barren and they were both well along in their years. There's no doubt that Zechariah and Elizabeth wanted a child. There's no doubt that for many, many, many years they probably prayed for a child. In today's world, there are quite a few people that have no children. I wish I had a child, but it's not meant to be. So far, it hasn't meant to be. But my circumstances are nothing like what Zechariah and Elizabeth went through. No one holds not having a child against me. Kingwood Baptist Church, they hired me to be pastor, even though I had no children. People don't look at me and think, you must have really sinned for God to withhold a child from you. People don't look at me and think that, at least to my knowledge. But that's exactly how people thought in the ancient Jewish world. We find out in Luke chapter 1, verse 26, that Elizabeth had felt disgraced by her people because she had no child. For a woman, that was the primary role in the ancient Jewish world. I know it sounds bad saying that, but in the ancient Jewish world, people did look at women differently if they had no child. And it wasn't fair to wives without children. When there was a married couple that did not have children, many ancient Jews thought it was because God was punishing one of the partners in the marriage. That one of the partners in the marriage had sinned. They thought one of the partners had sinned so significantly that God was punishing them by not allowing them to have a child. Which we know is untrue in Zechariah and Elizabeth's case. The Bible makes it clear they were both upright in the sight of God. So people thought they were being punished for something because they had sinned, but that wasn't the case because they were both upright in the sight of God. People had misconceptions about them. Friends, an important point here is that just because someone has a health condition or as someone is going through difficult trials, it's not necessarily because that person has sinned. There are many unbelievers in this world that have really good health at the moment. And there's some people that are really faithful to the Lord that have life-threatening diseases or illnesses. When someone is sick, or if someone is going through tough trials, it's wrong to assume that the reason that it's happening is because God is punishing them for some specific sin in their lives. The fact is this. The fact is that we live in a fallen world. And in this fallen world, unfortunately, many faithful Christians will have harsh trials. Now, I believe that this is one of the truth and one of the frame of thoughts that we can learn from Luke chapter 1, verses 5 to 7, in the case of Zechariah and Elizabeth. Thank you very much.